Do you know that the reason you're brushing your teeth today, just like billions of people around the globe, is all centered on one unique advertising strategy? Well, you have Claud Hopkins to thank for that. This marketing genius turned a flawed product into a success story within 2 years. You can thank him for the fact that most Americans have toothpaste in their homes, and you don't have to struggle through people with bad breath. So how exactly did he do it? Stick around as we explore in today's video how a marketing gimmick changed people's dental hygiene forever. Harnessing the power of habit in advertising. For so long, we have heard of the phrase that the customer is king. But what if something was able to turn it around and reveal that customers could be gullible instead? This was exactly what Claud Hopkins did. There is a reason why a lot of people are stuck on certain products and will continue to use them no matter how many other similar brands are out there. That's because it has become a habit that you can't get rid of easily. So, how are habits formed? Well, the book, The Power of Habit, explains this perfectly. It starts with the fact that it takes just a few steps to perform any action. The first one involves triggering our minds. Our minds need a cue of something like a button to start doing something regularly. When you wake up in the morning, chances are you feel very groggy and uninspired to start your day. But as soon as you have that first cup of coffee, you suddenly start to feel a lot better. So you have that trigger that you're not going to start your day right without a cup of coffee. This is what many brands have established in their consumers, and that's the clue to trigger people into drinking coffee. The next step is to actually perform the action after you become successfully triggered. The cue will push you to search for that rewind that is instant alertness every morning. And so you'll keep on driving to the store every time you run out of coffee beans because of that final reward you're sure of. So why are we telling you this? Well, it's this brilliant concept that was already identified by Claud Hopkins, the father of scientific advertising, long before others caught the trick. And now, let's delve into the story of this American advertiser. Claude was the kind of man that made an impact in the different firms he worked for around the early 1900s. He isn't called the father of scientific advertising for nothing. Claude's belief was simple. He believed that you could only measure the results of all the cash spent on an advertising strategy through how much sales you get out of it rather than just spending to build a brand image. The ad that changed the advertising industry. One lovely day, an old friend approached Claude to discuss his latest business idea. This friend felt that it was a purely genius idea that would be a massive hit, but Claude thought otherwise. You see, this friend was pitching the idea of a frothy, minty toothpaste. But oral hygiene then wasn't the same as it is now. We know this toothpaste today as Pepsodent. Anybody going into business that had to do with oral hygiene at the time was possibly on a business suicide mission. There were hundreds of salesmen selling tooth powders from door to door, all without success. In fact, a lot of them were going broke because less than 10% of Americans were interested in brushing their teeth regularly. The stats clearly showed that there was no target market, and it was doomed to fail from the start. But this friend was consistent and finally able to convince Claude to help with their advertising strategy. Claude looked at the task before him and knew that people weren't looking to buy technical details. There was no way he could sell with the promise that they could use the product to prevent a future problem. What people wanted was a cure, and you could only get their attention by offering them an immediate benefit, which in this case would be a beautiful smile. So Claude set out on his search for a wow factor that would get people thinking that this was the product they needed, and fast. Already aware of the habit loop, he went heavily into research mode and discovered an interesting piece of information about the teeth. Do you know that there is a thin, cloudy layer known as a bacterial plaque that forms naturally on the teeth when you don't brush? It makes the teeth look yellowish and dull, which is one thing we can agree on that we hate. Well, at the time, this wasn't common information, and so he devised a plan around this for Pepsodent. The plan was to make this toothpaste sound like the perfect object that could create beauty. So his advert would revolve around the fact that the product could cleanse this cloudy film. The first step was to get people to become aware of this cloudy film on their teeth, and frankly speaking, that was the easiest part of the job. In his advertising, Claude simply asked people to run their tongues over their teeth. As soon as they did this, they could feel the plaque that built up after several years of not brushing. This advertising guru leased every available ad space and promoted his campaigns about the teeth plaque. Naturally, this got everyone curious enough, and he was ready to launch stage 2 of his plan. Stage 2 was where he would try to convince everyone that they could get rid of this plaque by brushing their teeth, and the reward would be shiny white teeth. In his words, they would have the Pepsodent smile. But it's no secret that marketers have mastered the art of deceiving customers for years, and Claude was among the early ones. The cloudy film that forms in your teeth is actually a major component that develops again immediately after brushing your teeth. You could get rid of it by simply rinsing your mouth out with water. What's even crazier is that several dental researchers informed the public that toothpaste, and especially Pepsodent, had no special ingredient to remove the cloudy film. Despite this, the campaign was a huge success, and Pepsodent recorded massive sales over the next few months after they launched Claud's advertising strategy. This campaign was responsible for getting up to 65% of Americans to embrace brushing their teeth, which was a huge leap from the initial 7%. Slowly, this trend spread across the world, and Pepsodent was in high demand in various countries. Claude was successful in creating a craving, although this part wasn't by accident. Pepsodent had an ingredient that made people have a slight tingling sensation after brushing. This was what people started associating with clean teeth, and they craved this feeling. This amazing advertiser also tested various ad methods to see what worked more. He was quite possibly one of the earliest split testers in the marketing industry. Claude created some coupons to test different variables. In some, he added the word free and then discovered that it reduced sales by almost 80%. This was enough to prove that the market believed that selling the product for free was a way of undermining its integrity. Over the next few years after that, Pepsodent toothpaste took over the world, and pretty much every competitor wanted to mirror their advertising strategy. They boosted their ingredients to include one that would cause foaming, and this convinced people to want to have clean teeth. This was more than a century ago, and it still forms the fundamental principles of marketing today. Marketers have Claud Hopkins to thank for revealing an advertising method with a huge success rate. He is probably the reason why you get up to brush your teeth daily. It took the man just 3 years to convince most of America to believe in toothpaste and start brushing their teeth. And that's how this ad successfully transformed the toothpaste and advertising industry. Now you know how an ad tricked Americans into brushing their teeth, and that's a wrap. Have you watched any ad that absolutely captivated you with its stroke of genius? What was so unique about it, and what caught your attention? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? Well, we're always posting amazing content like this, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching.